Good day everyone. So we are now here on the part 2 on how are we going to solve rational inequalities. So kung sa previous video, diniscuss natin yung pagsosolve ng rational inequality kung saan ang inequality symbol natin ay less than lang at greater than. Okay? Now on our part 2, we will be dealing with rational inequalities wherein ang ating inequality symbol ay less than or equal to at greater than or equal to. Okay, so let us have this one. We have here 6 minus 2x over 4 plus x is less than or equal to 5. So kung mapapansin nyo, meron na pong equal to yung ating inequality symbol. So same rule applies sa pagsusolve nito. Ang una natin gagawin is for us to write it as a single fraction on one side of the inequality symbol and 0 on the other side. So to make that happen, we have here 6 minus 2x over, that's over 4 plus x. So, write ko lang, is less than or equal to 5. So, ang gagawin natin, ililipat natin si 5 sa kabilang side ng inequality. So, that becomes 6 minus 2x over 4 plus x minus 5, dahil lilipat na po natin siya, is less than or equal to 0. So, yun po yung ating magiging result. Okay, and then after this, we have to make this as a single fraction. So, hindi po siya single fraction kasi may dalawa tayong terms dito. Okay? And then, so, what we're going to do is, to get the LCD, since ito, ang denominator lang naman ni 5 ay 1, hence our LCD would be x or 4 plus x. Okay? So, we have here 4 plus x divided by 4 plus x. So, that's simply 1. That's simply 1. And then we have to multiply it with the numerator, which is 6 minus 2. So, we have here 6 minus 2x. And then we have here minus, since yun yung ating operation. So, we have here 4 plus x divided by 1. Kasi yun yung numerator nito. So, that would be 4 plus x, and then we have to multiply it with 5. Is less than or equal to 0. Okay, and then after that, we simplify it. So, we'll be having 1 times 6 minus 2x. That's simply 6 minus 2x. Then minus, do not forget the parenthesis. We have here 5 times 4, that's 20. And then we have here 5 times x, that is positive 5x. Over 4 plus x is less than or equal to 0. And then after this, we omit the parentheses by changing the sign, changing all the signs of those terms inside the parentheses. So this will be 6 minus what? 6 minus 2x, then minus 20, then minus 5x over 4 plus x. Alright, 4 plus x is less than or equal to 0. And then we simplify. So we have yung kamukha ni 6, that is negative 20. And then yung kamukha ni negative 2x ay negative 5x. So negative 2x minus 5x over 4 plus x is less than or equal to 0. And then, simplifying this, we have 6 minus 20, that's negative 14. And then we have negative 2x minus 5x, that's negative 7x, over 4 plus x is less than or equal to 0. Okay po? So, meron na po tayong single rational expression, or rational inequality, sorry. Alright, so single na po siya. So, how many critical values yung nakikita natin? Actually, we have 1, and then we have 2, since we have 2 binomials here. Then, susulat na po natin yung ating critical values. Alright, so our critical values would be obtained by what? By equating all these factors into or to 0. So that is negative 14 minus 7 equals 0. At yung isa naman ay 4 plus x equals 0. So dapat x lang po yung nasa kabila. So, this becomes negative 7x equals, ito ililipat natin sa kabila. So, that becomes positive 14. Okay? And then we have to divide both sides by negative 7 para x lang po yung matira dito sa kabila. Hence, our first critical value, this is negative 7, sorry. Our first critical value would be x equals, what's 14 divided by negative 7? That is negative 2. So, ito po yung ating unang critical value. And then, after that, we have the next critical value. So, so that would be x, and then positive 4 would be transposed to the other side of the equation. So, that becomes negative 4. Hence, our second critical value would be negative 4. Okay po? Alright. And then after that, we now plot it to our number line. So, si negative 2 and negative 4. Okay? So, negative 2 and negative 4. If this is our number line, this is to negative infinity, and this is positive infinity, and this is our 0. So, we have here 1. Lalakihan ko na ha. 2, 3, 4. We have negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and then negative 4. So, unlike dun sa previous example natin, na lahat sila hollow dot. Okay, lahat po sila hollow dot kasi less than or greater than lang yung inequality symbol. But here, hindi po lahat dahil ang ating inequality symbol dun sa ating single inequality is meron ng equal to, hindi po ibig sabihin yan ay lahat na po ay solid. Okay? So, yung solid lang po dyan, yung magiging solid lang po na critical value would be those value na hindi magiging undefined yung ating inequality. Ibig sabihin, kapag naging undefined yung ating expression, then hindi po siya dapat kasama sa ating solution. So, paano ba naging undefined? Naging undefined kapag naging 0 yung denominator. At kapag sinubstitute natin itong dalawang ito, si negative 4 at si negative 2 dito sa ating single rational inequality, alin kaya dun sa dalawa yung mag-undefined yung expression? Okay? So, here is a technique. Aside from substituting this value, it would really take time. Alright? So, it would really take time. So, para malaman natin kung sino yung maging undefined, so kukunin lang natin yung critical value na nanggaling sa denominator. Alin ba yung critical value na nanggaling sa denominator? Is it this one or this one? Alright? So, actually, it's x equals negative 4 kasi si 4 plus x ay nanggaling dito sa ating denominator. So, that would be the critical value na magiging undefined yung ating rational inequality. Ibig sabihin, hindi dapat kasama si negative 4. Hence, si negative 2, solid dot, si negative 4, hollow dot lang po siya. Kasi nga, magiging undefined yung value natin. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, si negative 4 ay hollow dot lang kasi it will make the rational inequality undefined, and si negative 2 naman ay solid. Okay? So, ito po yung solid. Okay. So, with this, na-divide yung ating number line into 3 partitions. This part, and then this part. So, we how many partitions do we have? We actually have 3. Hence, we will do a table of sign to which we will be considering 3 columns. So, we have here 1, 2, and then 3. And our first row would be, again, it's for set notation. For our first set notation, it would be this part. Okay? It would be this part. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, all values from negative 4 to negative infinity. So, paano po natin siya i-represent? That would be what? X is, since hollow po ito, so that is less than. Alright? Kasi papunta tayo dito. So, X is less than negative 4. And then, we proceed to our next partition. I am talking about this partition. So, we have from X is what? S is actually in between negative 4. Kung in between siya ng negative 4 and negative 2, kung in between siya ng negative 4 and negative 2, si X ay greater than kay negative 4, kasi ayan, greater than negative 4, pero what? Less than less than or equal to negative 2 kasi nga ito ay solid. Okay po? And lastly, we have this partition. So, from negative 2 included siya ha kasi solid. From negative 2 to our positive infinity. Hence, that would be from x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay? So, that would be our set notation. Next is, we have our next row. That would be our interval. Alright? So, i-convert lang natin yung set notation to interval. So, if this is x is less than negative 4, so that is from negative infinity to negative 4. Okay? Parenthesis kasi, ito ay hindi included. Just like what is being illustrated on our graph. And then, next would be x is greater than negative 4, so that is parenthesis negative 4 down to negative 2 what? Parenthesis or bracket. Since this is included, it should be a bracket. Okay po? So, it's negative 4, parenthesis negative 4, comma negative 2, bracket. And lastly, we have x is greater than or equal to negative 2, so that is a bracket from negative 2 to infinity. Okay po? So, those will be our intervals. And next is that we get our test points. Okay? So, we get our test points. And for our test points, so ano ba yung pwede nating test point na gamitin? Dito, x is less than negative 4. So, ano yung pinakamalapit? So, si negative 5 na lang. Alright, so negative 5. And then, test point dito sa pangalawa, so that would be what? In between negative 4 and negative 2. That is negative 3. Okay, so pwede yan. And lastly, a test point from or x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So, ang tanong dito, pwede ba natin gawing test point si negative 2? Yes, kasi nga included siya. Pero let us just go further. Okay? So, wag na lang muna natin gamitin si negative 2 para mas matest pa natin siyang mabuti. So, x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So, it can be negative 1 or 0 if you want. So, whatever makes you comfortable. Alright? So, sa akin, si negative 1. Alright? And then after that, is that we list down our critical values here to test the points. Okay, so that would be from our critical values are, so negative 14 minus 7x, so that is negative 14 minus 7x, and then the next one is what? The next one is 4 plus x, 4 plus x, and then the last column or the last row would be allotted for the whole expression. So that is negative 14 minus 7x over 4 plus x. And then we test the points. So if we substitute negative 5 to x dito kay negative 14 minus 7x, so that is negative 14 minus 7 times negative 5. So kung i-simplify natin dito is positive 35 plus negative 14, so that would be a positive 1. Okay, and then after that, you can actually use your calculator if you want. Next is that we substitute negative 5 to this one, so that is 4 plus negative 5, so that would be a negative value. Alright, next is positive times negative, that would be negative. Next is that we have negative 3. So, negative 3, substitute natin dito. So, negative 3 times negative 7, that's positive 21, plus negative 14, that's positive 7. Hence, it would be positive. Okay? Next is that we have 4 plus negative 3. Okay? So, 4 plus negative 3 is positive 1, so it's positive. So, positive times positive, positive. Next is that we have negative 1. If we substitute it, we substitute negative 1 to negative 14 minus 7x, that's negative 7x times negative 1, that's positive 7. And then positive 40, plus negative 40, that's negative 7. Hence, it's negative. Okay, next is that we have 4 plus x. So, substitute natin si negative 1 dito. We have 4 plus negative 1, that's positive 3. Hence, it's positive. And then the last one is negative times positive, that's negative. Okay, so what are we going to consider? Is it the positive values or the negative value. So, balik tayo dun sa ating single expression or sa single rational inequality. So, ano po ba ang ating symbol dito? That is less than or equal to. Kung less than yan, saan papunta ang less than natin? That is, we are actually talking about less than yan, less than or equal to, papunta yan kay negative values. So, we are to consider all the negative signs sa baba. Alright? Hence, our solution would be from this one. Okay? So, negative values, ito po, yung ating interval. Okay? So, ang ating solution would be the union of negative infinity to negative 4 union. So, this is that's bracket negative 2 to positive infinity. So, this would be our solution to our inequality. So, kapag pumili tayo ng point dito sa ating solution, let's say for example, kunwari ito, tulad nito, negative 5, at sinubstitute natin siya dito sa ating original inequality, it should be less than or equal to negative or to 5. Okay, so ganun po yung kalalabasan niya. Alright, again, our solution for this inequality would be from negative infinity to negative 4 excluded, union, negative 2 included to positive infinity. Okay, so that would be for our first example. And for our next example, is that we have here 5x over x squared plus 2x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 3. So medyo pahirap na ng pahirap yung ating example, but it would be a great a help for you to better understand the lesson. Okay? So we have here 5x over, that's x squared plus 2x minus 8. Ay, sorry. Nasanay na sa infinity. So minus 8 is greater than or equal to 3. So greater than or equal to tayo, may equal to tayo. So same lang na procedure din. Alright, first is for us to rewrite this as a single rational inequality wherein single fraction sa kabila at 0 sa kabila. So, lilipat natin si 3 dun sa kabilang side. So, we have here 5x over x squared plus 2x minus 8 is minus 3, is less than or is greater than or equal to 0. So, nasatisfy na po natin na 0 yung nasa kabila. Then, we have to make this as a single fraction naman. So, alam natin na ito ang denominator ni 3 ay 1. Hence, our LCD would be x squared plus 2x plus 8. So, we have here x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay, so yan po yung ating magiging LCD. Then, we have x squared plus 2x minus 8 divided natin dito. That is actually 1. And then, we have to multiply with the numerator. That's 5x. So, that is 5x. And then, minus. And then, we have ito, x squared plus 2x minus 8. Divide natin kay 1 kasi 1 yung denominator ni 3. That is what? That is still x squared minus, plus 2x minus 8. And then, we have to multiply it with 3. And then, we have greater than or equal to 0. And then, we simplify. So, we have 1 times 5x, that is 5x. And then minus, don't forget the parentheses, that would be 3 times x squared, that would be 3x squared. And then we have 3 times positive 2, that would be what? Positive 2x, that's positive 6x. So positive 6x. And then we have 3 times negative 8, so that would be negative 24 over x squared plus 2x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and then we simplify by eliminating the parentheses. So that would become 5x minus, so mapapalitan po lahat ng sign na yung nasa loob. So that is minus 3x squared that would become negative 6x, and then we have positive 24 over x squared plus 2x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. And then, simplify pa ulit natin. So, we have here, since wala naman itong kamuka, so that becomes negative 3x squared. And then, we have 5x. We have 5x plus, that's 5x plus negative 6x. That is negative, actually that's negative x. Alright, so we have here negative x. Then plus 24 over x squared plus 2x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. But since yung x squared natin dito sa taas ay may negative value, pwede nating alisin yung negative value by making this is actually negative 1 multiplied by 3x squared plus x, kasi tinanggal mo yung negative, and then minus 24. Okay, so yan po yung magiging value niya. X squared plus 2x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. And then we have to multiply both sides by negative 1 para matanggal po yung negative 1. Okay po? And kapag nag-multiply tayo ng negative, remember na nababago po yung direction ng ating inequality symbol. So making this equivalent to 3x squared plus x minus 24 over x squared plus 2x minus 8 is less than or equal to 0. So, naging less than na po siya. Kasi nga, minultiply natin ng negative 1. Okay po? And then after this, is this a single fraction na po? Yes, this is a single fraction na po. And for us to get the critical value, a strategy or a technique is to simply factor this out. Okay? So, we think of the factors of 3x squared plus x minus 24 and the factors of x squared plus 2x minus 8. So, ano po yung magiging factors ni 3x squared plus x minus 24? So, yung magiging factors niya po would be isa ay 3x, yung isa ay 3x, and then yung isa ay x. And then yung factors ni negative 24, it should be a negative 8 and a positive 3. So, i-double check natin kung yun talaga yung ating factors. So, this is positive this is 3x plus 3 times 3, that's positive 9. And then, negative 8 times x, that's negative 8x. So, positive 9x plus negative 8x, that is positive x. Okay. So, this would be the factor of our numerator over the factors of our, denominator. It would be, or we have to think of the factor of negative 8 na ang sum ay positive 2. And that is, this is both x's. And then we have negative 8, so that's negative 4 or positive 4 kasi positive 2 to, so positive 4 and negative 2. So double check natin, this is positive 4x, this is negative 2x, so 4x plus negative 2x, that is positive 2x. So tama po yung ating factors. Hence, the factors of our single fraction on our rational inequality would be this one. Alright, so ito po yung ating kukunan ng critical values. Okay, so kung mapapansin po natin, we have how many critical values? 1, 2, 3, and then we have 4. Okay, so 4 po yung ating kukunan ng critical values. Okay, so the first one is 3x minus 8. So sulat ko lang dito, critical values. Critical values. Okay, so we have the first one is 3x minus 8. So, we have to equate it with 0. Hence, we have 3x equals 8. Then, divide both sides by 3. Then, our first critical value would be 8 over 3. Okay po, 8 over 3 or 2 and 2/3 or 2.67. Okay, next is, our next would be x plus 3. So, madali lang po. We have x plus 3 equals 0, then that is x equals negative 3. So, this would be our second critical value. Next is that we have x plus 4. Alright, so we have x plus 4. So that is x plus 4 equals 0. Then we have x equals negative 4. Hence, this would be the third critical value. And lastly, we have x minus 2. So we have here x minus 2 equals 0. Then x would be 2, positive 2. Alright, so this would be our third critical value. At kung papansinin natin, si x plus 4 at saka si x minus 2, nanggaling po yan sa ating denominator. And since ang ating inequality symbol ay may equal to, then yung negative 4 at positive 2 should be what? Should be a hollow dot. Hindi po natin siya dapat isama kasi dito magiging undefined yung ating value. Alright? And if we are going to plot it on the number line, we have this one. Alright, so if this is 0, this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, then we have negative 4, negative 5, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, then we have 5. So, plot muna natin si x equals 8 over 3. So, 8 over 3, that's 2.67, so somewhere here. And since hindi siya galing sa denominator, so solid po siya. Alright, so this is a solid dot. Ito po si 8 over 3. Okay, and then we have x equals negative 3. So, si negative 3 ay galing din kay numerator kung saan included po siya. So, this is also a solid dot. And then, last two, we have negative 4. So, tulad ng sinabi natin, si negative 4 ay galing kay denominator and it will make the inequality undefined. So, hindi po siya included. So, it would be a hollow dot. And lastly, we have 2. Okay? Since galing din po siya sa ating denominator, it will make it undefined. Hence, yun po ay what? Yun po ay hollow dot. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, tignan po natin how many partitions do we have. Medyo madami. We have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So, we have 5 partitions. Okay? So, we'll be having 5 columns. So, we'll be having this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 5. Alright? And our first row would be for our set notation. Our first set notation would be from our first one, this part. So, this is actually from negative 4 to negative infinity. Hence, our set notation would be x is less than negative 4. Okay? And then, we have the next set notation. Or kung, para mas madali, idiretso na rin natin siya kay interval. Okay? So, yung interval natin would be from negative infinity to negative 4. So, parenthesis po siya kasi hindi included. Okay? And next set notation natin ay itong part na ito. So, from negative 4 to negative 3. So, that would be what? That would be, this is x is greater than negative 4. Greater than lang kasi hindi siya included. So, greater than negative 4. But, less than or equal to negative 3 kasi solid po si negative 3 dito. And for our interval, that would be from parenthesis negative 4, negative 3 bracket. Okay? And next partition would be this one. Okay? So, from negative 3 included to positive 2 excluded. So, that is x is greater than or equal to negative 3 but less than 2. So, for our interval, that would be bracket, negative 3, 2, parenthesis, kasi excluded siya. Okay? And next is this partition. Okay? So, that is from 2 to 8 over 3. So, that would be x is, medyo maliit na. So, that is x is greater than 2, but less than or equal to 8 over 3 kasi included yung 8 over 3. And for our interval, so that would be, this is from 2 to 8 over 3. This would be bracket. Okay po? And lastly, our last partition, this one. So from 8 over 3 included. So that would be x is greater than or equal to 8 over 3. Hence, our interval would be from bracket 8 over 3 to positive infinity. Okay, so that would be our set notation and interval. Next is that we determine test points. Alright, so test points. So ano po bang pwede nating test point na less than k negative 4? So that would be negative 5. Dito naman in between, sige, negative 3.5. Okay, tapos dito, gawin na lang natin 0 kasi nasa gitna naman siya. Then dito kay 2 and 8 over 3. So 2 in between 2 and 2.67. So sabihin natin 2.5. Alright, so that is 2.5. And then we have numbers greater than 8 over 3. So yung malapit na lang, that would be 3. Okay, and then we what? We substitute, we put down our critical values here. Okay, so pahabain lang natin. So that would be, sorry. So that would be, first one is 3x minus 8. Second one is x plus 3. Medyo madami ito. X plus 3, and then the other one would be, that would be x plus 4. And then, last one is x minus 2. Okay? And then, x minus 2. And then yung huli ay yung buong inequality. Okay? So, let us have this. Completein ko lang yung lines. Okay. So, if we're going to make this happen, or if we're going to test this, kapag ito negative 5, nilagay natin dito. Negative 5 times 3, negative 15 minus 8, negative 23. So, that's negative. Then, negative 5, substitute kay x plus 3. That's negative 5 plus 3. That's negative 2. So, negative. And then, we have negative 5 plus 4. That would be negative 1. So, negative ulit. And then, negative 5 minus 2. That would be negative 7. So, negative ulit. Okay? And then, we have negative times negative, positive. And then, positive times negative, negative. And then negative times negative, that is positive. Hence, the last would be positive. Okay, and next is that we have 3.5. So, substitute natin kay 3x minus 8. So, we have here 3 times negative 3.5. So, that is negative 10.5 minus 8. That's negative. Okay, and then we have negative 3.5 plus 3 is negative. Okay, and then negative 3.5 plus 4, so that would be positive 0.5, so we have positive. And then negative 3.5 times minus 2, that's still negative. Okay, hence we have negative times negative, positive. Positive times positive, positive. Positive times negative, then that would be a negative value. Okay, so negative po yung ating value. Next, we proceed with the next one. If it's 0, so this would be automatically, that's negative. So, 0 minus 8. Then we have 0 plus 3, that's positive. Then, 0 plus 4, positive ulit. Then, 0 minus 2, that is negative. Okay? Gawin lang nating red. So, this is negative, positive, positive, then negative. So, we have negative times positive, negative, negative times positive, negative, negative times negative, that's positive. Alright? So, that would be positive yung ating dulo. And next, we have 2.5. So, substitute natin si 2.5 dito. So, we have 3 times 2.5. That is what? That is 7.5 minus 8. That's negative. Negative 0.5. Alright? You may use your calculator para mas mabilis. Then, we have 2.5 plus 3. That's positive. Then, 2.5 plus 4. That's positive. And then, we have 2.5 minus 2, that's 0.5, still positive. Okay, and then we have negative times positive, negative, negative times positive, negative ulit. Then negative times positive, negative pa din. Okay, so that would be negative. And the last one, if it's 3, kapag 3 naman po yung x natin, we have 3 times 3, that's 9 minus 8, that's positive 1, so we have positive. Then we have 3 plus 3, that's 6, that's positive. That's 3 plus 4. That's positive pa din. That's 3 plus 3, or 3 minus 2, sorry. 3 minus 2 is 1, still positive. And if this is all positive, then we have positive value. Okay, so ano po ba yung ating magiging or ating i-consider na sign? So, dun sa ating sa ating single inequality, single rational inequality, ito po, ano po ba yung ginamit natin na inequality symbol? That is less than or equal to. So, kung less than or equal to, actually, it's greater than or equal to, di ba? Dun sa original. Pero nung naging critical na, nung naging single fraction na siya, naging less than or equal to kasi minultiply natin siya kay negative 1. At ito po yung ating susundin. See? Less than or equal to. So, kung less than or equal to siya, papunta siya kay negative. Hence, we are to consider negative values. At ang ating solution would be this one. So, the union of, alright, so the union of 4, so ang ating solution set would be the union of, that's parenthesis negative 4, comma negative 3 bracket, union, that is parenthesis 2, comma 8 over 3, then we have bracket. So this would be our solution for our inequality. And if we are to graph that, this is that, or this is our solution. So, etong in-betweens. Okay? So, that's how we solve rational inequality.